In this session, we're going to cover auto dispatch. The screen you're looking at now is the unallocated rides page. So there's 29 bookings in total for tomorrow. And we've set this test up in Porto in Portugal. So we have 29 bookings and 6 riders. To enable auto dispatch, you would need to add a payment method first. And you can do that very simply in the admin menu, configuration, system settings, and there's a panel there for you to add your card. Now, for this to work perfectly, the data needs to be correct. So from the services button, these are the service types. We have our standard saloon. Click on edit. It's going to show you how this is set up. So you can turn on and off auto dispatch on a per vehicle basis, on and off. And this is where we determine the on-site time. This is the time that the vehicle needs to be at the address prior to the pickup time. So anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour. Okay. Now, for a standard saloon, it's probably going to be 10 minutes before the pickup, but if it was a VIP booking, you may want to expand that a little bit more. You may want it there 30 minutes before the pickup time. If it's a minibus, you might even want it there 45 minutes before the pickup time, but we're going to leave that at 10 for this standard saloon. And you'd work through the list for each of these service types. So on our assets, our active list, we have vehicles that have been assigned to the drivers. Now, when you added these, you would have been asked to set the default vehicle type, and that's important, but then any of the other services that this vehicle could perform. So we're looking at a standard saloon. It can only perform standard saloon booking. If we take another one, if we look at executive minivan, that's the default setting. Executive saloon bookings it can carry out as well. It can't do minivan, minibus. It may do standard minivan bookings, and it could do standard saloon. And when you're happy with that, you just click on save. And that's the same. This is something you set up once when the vehicle's added. But for auto dispatch, this has to work properly. These settings have to be set correctly. In our drivers section here, we have the driver's profile. We can edit the driver. Important pieces here are the address, the driver's home address. Otherwise, the algorithm won't be able to create a starting point that's accurate enough. And the other one is the vehicle that the driver is assigned to in its profile. And down on the right-hand side, the working pattern for this particular driver. Once those are set, they tend to stay the same. For the duration, the driver is with you. The other option is obviously down here, the maximum number of driven hours, but if you've set their shift from 7 till 7, then obviously you wouldn't need to worry about that. But if you wanted to set that to 6, for example, and then there has to be a break, 1 hour in between, we'd send that off to the algorithm, and Google would return based on that. So it's a 12-hour shift, but after hour 6, he needs 1 hour break. That's the settings for the driver. So we want to set the drivers that are available to work tomorrow. So I've just added a few here already. So they have their driver vehicle there attached to the shift. And so I've added 4 already, and then here if there is a change, you can just make these changes here, but it's pulling the information from the profile, so the more accurate the profile is, the easier that this is going to be. So we'll go add, we want all 6 drivers working tomorrow, and that's it. Bear in mind, this is just for tomorrow, okay? So you would need to repeat this every day, because we need to keep telling the system who's working tomorrow. You can't just assume. Next, go back to our auto dispatch plan and configuration from the driver's menu. We have our plan settings. So we give it a description. and airport grace period. So the auto dispatch algorithm needs to be told what sort of address the driver is picking up from. So from a standard address or a hotel, customer's going to be through pretty quickly. Whereas at an airport, the driver has to have time to park the vehicle and get inside the terminal. And we can't guess this. And because it's happening tomorrow, we need to tell the system how long the driver is going to be at the pickup point before the customer embarks in the vehicle and they leave. So you can set that 45 minutes, 30 minutes, depends on your policy. The next one, exactly the same, but for a standard address, so we can assume that the passenger will come out 15 minutes after pickup time. Just building buffers in so that the auto dispatch can make better decisions, making sure that your vehicles will arrive on time to your customers. Unloading time is the same, it just adds a buffer onto the end of the ride, so when the journey is complete, putting on 5 minutes to allow disembarkation. I'm going to skip these for another video. It's a driver allocation to try to give each available driver at least one job. Or you can just let the system optimize. That may result in a driver not receiving a job, but the rest of the bookings will be optimized with the smallest amount of drivers. So once you've set that up, but you probably only have to do this once, you can click on Save. The button here for penalty cost management, it just prioritizes one vehicle over another. So if an executive minivan can carry out minivan bookings and standard saloon, you want to make sure that if there is a request for an executive minivan tomorrow, that it's going to be prioritized. It's a little bit complex, but we've set these up for you. In theory, they wouldn't need to be changed. Next, we want to get our bookings for tomorrow. Just going to run through the options here. So we need your confirmation that generating a new optimization run will create a charge on your account. Okay? That the driver's shift have been created for the operational date tomorrow. Drivers' home addresses have been added correctly. We covered that and are up to date. Vehicles are correctly paired. And the plan settings have been reviewed, waiting times, solving mode, etc. Okay? So by clicking Agree and Confirm, the charge for running the auto dispatch would have been triggered. So here we have plan number 139, and it's just telling us that we need to click the Assign Drivers button, and that bookings will not be assigned to the drivers at this stage. Okay? So by clicking the button, it's going to send the information off to Google, who will return the results, and they will display on this page. And just click that. And now you can see we have our drivers assigned. So we have the driver's name, the vehicle that he's driving, and the type of vehicle, what time he's leaving home according to Google, and his shift window. So this is an address pickup. So as we said before, pickup is at 10:15. So the vehicle needs to be standard saloon, needs to be on site 10 minutes earlier, so at 10:05. And we expect the customer to leave 15 minutes afterwards. So it leaves at 10:30. Based on historical traffic, Google says that it takes 7 minutes to do that journey. Let's just scroll down and find an airport. So pickup time, 15:55. Standard saloon needs to be there 10 minutes earlier. We expect the vehicle to leave 45 minutes after. And according to Google on historical traffic, the vehicle will drop off at 5:13. Let's just scroll down a bit longer. So you can see that some drivers are leaving home later because there's not enough bookings for them. So leaves home at 7:45. Standard saloon, executive minivan. So you can see that the executive minivan has a minivan booking because we've assigned it to be able to do standard minivan and standard saloon. And then we have 2 bookings that can't be covered. So sometimes we don't get a response back from Google as to why, but there will be a logical reason why that couldn't be assigned. And this one here, well, it's 10 to 7. Cannot be performed within the vehicle time windows. That makes sense because we've told Google that the shifts for these drivers start at 7 and end at 7. So anything to go over their shift, it wouldn't assign to the drivers. You can simply select driver from the drop-down list here and then click the assign button, and that would then move it up to the grid above. So that's it. So almost all of our bookings for tomorrow have been assigned. We want to assign these in the system now. And there's just a warning. So when you're assigning from the unassigned or unallocated rides page, when you do a physical assignment to a driver, it will send either a text message or an email to the driver with the details. And that's based on the driver's profile. This is a soft assignment. So it's you can reverse it. It's not reversible from here, but you can from the unallocated page. So don't panic. But what it won't do here is it won't send a message to the driver to say that these rides have been allocated. Let's just go ahead and allocate these now. It's the first one. Just go through them one by one. It gives you an opportunity to just review the data before you assign them. Maybe I think that's the last one. Okay. There's the 2 bookings that can't be covered. Let's go off now to our booking management page. And then we'll be able to see here all of our bookings that have been assigned to the drivers for the following day. And we can see the 2 here that haven't been assigned. So that's the process for planning next day. It really does take the effort out of manual assignment. You know, Google knows the historical data for the traffic. It knows where the driver lives, what time they start work, what time they finish work, where they need to be when they finish work as well, so back at their home address. And really, we assigned all of those bookings for the following day in under a minute. So if you're spending an hour or 2 hours a day planning tomorrow, this could be cut down dramatically to just 60 seconds in theory. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can raise a support ticket here, and we'll respond as soon as we can. Thank you.